Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review. Now I don't have a box for this pen, so this pen has been loaned to me from a friend. Now this is a sort of nondescript pen, although you will see here if I show you, it says here Pilot Japan. And it's the Pilot Justus 95. Now, this is a pen that I've looked at a number of times in the past, along with the Pilot Falcon, and I've always disregarded these pens as pens that I wanted to buy and add to my collection. I don't really know why, other than it's a black pen and I don't normally do black pens. But you can see here, this has a rather nice guilloche effect going on here on the body. Now, this is a pen that tapers down quite a bit to what would be the cap finial there, which is just polished, and it tapers out right away to this first band, and then you have a raised cap band here, and then the cap drops down, and then it continues to taper down slightly to this ring, and then to another finial which is polished. The clip itself has a fairly basic clip on there which is quite springy. Now the pen, if I unscrew this is where the pen becomes quite interesting. So this is, if I can show you here, you have on the section, you have a twister. And it says H for hard, S for soft. So you move it clockwise for hard and then anti-clockwise for soft. Now, this is an interesting thing because this has a bar here on that nib. And if I just wipe that nib off a little bit, you might get to see it a little bit more. So, this is the nib, and it says Pilot Japan, and you have an ABS plastic feed there, but then you have this bar, and if I rotate the nib here, you'll see this is a fine nib. So the idea is that you have this bar, and you rotate it, and that bar moves along the nib. So that now makes the nib a hard nib or a rigid nib. And then if I rotate it back the other way, it retracts the bar and that now makes it a very soft nib. So this is quite an interesting pen to use. And it's a pen that I just haven't looked at before, and I'm glad I've been able to receive this on loan from a friend. Can I post the cap? I can, and it, like most pilots, it will post quite deeply as well. And it's actually quite a weighty pen. And what I would like to show you though is that this nib here does not actually have any designation on it, because otherwise that plate would that moves forward and back would actually probably scratch it up over time. Now, if I unscrew the body here, you will see it has an international converter, and it does have a little actuator there as well. It's a button filler, but I will try and take this nib for a bit of a test run. So first off, I think we will do a size check, we'll do a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the length of the pen, we are looking at 148mm in length. The length of the cap is 70mm. So that's a long cap. Now the length of the body, we are looking at 133mm in length. We'll do a weight check. the full weight of the pen, uninked, we're looking at just over 27.5 grams. The weight of the pen, the weight of the cap, we are looking at just over or just under 9.5 grams. And then the weight of the pen, we are looking at just under 16.5 grams. So this isn't a bad weight pen. I think with that though, we'll do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Positano blue. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the blue Hawaii. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Mediterraneo. We have an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the King Cobra, an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Dragon. We have a Pilot Justus 95. We have a John Twist Volcano. We have a Pelican M800 Royal Gold Raden. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande in the sand. And we have an Armando Simone Club Bologna Extra Black and Gold Lucians. So, let's go and do a writing sample. Now, I'm just going to make sure first off it's on the hard setting. So this is a Pilot Justus 95. This is a fine, and this, I think this is a 14 karat gold nib. Now the ink in here today is Waterman, and it is intense black. Now, I am finding this quite a fine nib, and it does have a lot of feedback for me. Now, I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to do a standard line variation test. So, this is with me pushing a little bit harder. And you can see that I'm not getting any hard starts or skips. Now, what I will do is I will move that down to what is a soft setting. And now we'll see what line variation we get out of this. Now, you are getting a little bit more line variation, and you can see there on those figure of eights that is giving me a lot more line variation. And again, no hard starts or skips going on there. Now, in terms of wetness, let's take a look. This is a fine nib. Okay, that's quite a wet nib. So, it is quite a wet nib when you look at that. The downstrokes are definitely a lot more wetter than the cross strokes. But I like the idea of this nib and the pen. I like that you can actually change it from a very rigid, almost still-like 14 karat gold nib, where you don't get hardly any bounce from it. And then you can move it to a soft 14 karat gold nib. And that actually does appeal to me. I kind of wish more manufacturers would do something like this. It's not probably as easy to do, and that's probably why only Pilot are doing it. But that actually makes the nib and the pen quite interesting. So I'm really glad I was able to try this pen out from a friend, and this will be going back to him very soon. What do I like about the pen? What do I not like about the pen? Well, I guess what I don't like is that I don't normally like black pens, although I do like this Guilloche. I'm starting to realise if I do want a black pen, it would have to be a pen that has a pattern or a Guilloche pattern on there. I like the nib. I like the size of the pen. it's actually an interesting pen, and I could see myself actually using one of these on a daily basis and probably not need a different pen. So for me, this is quite an interesting pen. It does come with a Pilot Con 70, which those button fillers tend to not be as good as some of the regular, say, Con 40s or Con 50 cartridge converters for Pilot. But other than that, I think the pen is an interesting pen. So if you haven't checked out the Pilot Justus 95 yet, I would say go and try one out, because you might be surprised like I am. So that's my review of the Pilot Justus 95 in a fine 14-karat gold nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.